Good morning, guys. Today is March 29th. It is a Tuesday, beautiful Tuesday morning. So last night, have some big news for the channel. Last night I ordered a GorillaPod. I actually ordered two of them. I ordered two GorillaPods, one for my iPhone and then one for my Canon EOS 6D. I have access to this amazing camera. Why am I not using it? It's kind of heavy and it's very difficult to hold. So with the GorillaPod, it's what Casey Neistat uses. With the GorillaPod, I can hoist the camera up and then the tripod's basically flexible. You can hold it as a stand if you want as a regular tripod, or you can flex it on an angle and then use it to hold your camera with. So it's less shaky and it's just easier to hold while you're walking or moving. So that should be shipped to me, I want to say, by the end of the week. And I'm going to be switching hopefully to the Canon EOS 6D. We'll see. I'll still be using my iPhone for a lot of stuff just because it's a lot easier and it's lighter. And I have a stand for that as well. So it's basically a miniature version of the larger stand for the Canon. I have one for the iPhone, so it won't be as shaky as it normally is. It'll be a little bit more steady, and I can actually stand the phone on things. It's very difficult to put the phone on a table or you have to stand it up against something. With this, I'll actually have a tripod to use not only for holding it, but also to put it on things to get better shots as well. So we're upgrading the equipment. That's what we're doing. That's the plan. Gear, of course, doesn't always matter, but it's just nice. If you have access to gear and you can afford new gear, you know, go for it. It's always nice to have a little better quality. But at the same time, gear doesn't matter. Gear does not matter. If the story you're telling, and this is a lot of Casey Neistat, if the story you're telling is not interesting, then the vlog's not interesting. You have to have something to say. If you have something to say, and we all have something to say, so you just have to find out what it is you want to say. But once you find that out, you're making real magic. So the next equipment upgrade that I'm thinking about getting, and it's not going to be for a little bit of time, is going to be a microphone for the Canon. Once I get acclimated and use the Canon a little bit more, I'm going to want to get an external microphone just for the quality of the sound, but also the wind reduction. It's very difficult right now for me to film outside because every time I film outside, there's wind. The wind influences the microphone, and that's all you end up hearing. And I know there's nothing more frustrating than hearing wind noise or white noise. It's not white noise. Hearing wind noise when you're filming or watching a video back. And that's what a lot of my earlier vlogs had, was just straight wind noise because I would film outside with the microphone. And I think it's the one specifically that Casey Neistat uses, and I've seen a bunch of other people use it. It's directional, so whatever way the microphone is pointing, generally speaking, it's going to be pointing the way you're filming. So if there's sound coming from the left, the right, or behind you, it's not going to pick that up. It's only going to pick up what's in front of you. So unless you're walking directly into wind, you should be okay. And also, you're going to want an external microphone just for better sound. Now, the sound on this, the iPhone, I think is actually pretty good. But if I'm going to be moving away from the iPhone, generally speaking, and more into the Canon, I'm going to want a better microphone to just use day to day. But I'm not going to move away from the iPhone completely. This is just very handy, and the quality is still great. I mean, the quality is still fantastic with this, so I don't see any reason to completely move away from the iPhone. I'm not going to be lugging around the Canon everywhere I go. But for more, weekend events or weekend trips, I think having a nicer quality camera would be a little bit better. The more and more that I do these vlogs, the more I realize a lot of this is really about experimentation. It's finding what works, what doesn't work, and then if it doesn't work, how can we make it work? I just did a time lapse outside of the camera on the floor, and I was trying to get this, what I thought was a pretty cool shot of the wind going through the garden. Anyway, long story short, it looked horrible. It looked nothing like what I had visioned in my head, but that's okay. I mean, that's like the best part about doing all of these and documenting everything, is that there's going to be things that work out and things that you think are going to be fantastic, and then there's things that aren't. It's all about finding that diamond in the rough, the one shot, the one thought that just is so sporadic and it comes out of nowhere that's beautiful. And that's why I keep doing these, because it's about finding a little bit about yourself. And when you start to talk to yourself about yourself, or just about thoughts that you have, you really find out the type of person that you are and the type of person that you'd want to be moving forward. And that's really the best part about doing these the perk is also having the creative ability, or being able to be creative in these vlogs and sort of show off some of my interests and my likes. But we're gonna keep pushing forward. Equipment upgrades, more consistent vlogs are coming. Everybody, please get ready. Today's been pretty interesting. Lately my car has been experiencing troubles where I can turn it on and it just stalls out and I have to shut the car off and then re-turn it back on. But today, pulling out of the gym, so the way the parking lot's divided is there's cars, and then there's where you pull out, and then there's adjacent cars. Rows of cars, pretty much. And I was pulling out of the gym and I was taking my car out of reverse and it died. It stalled out and it died. And I couldn't get it restarted. That's a horrible feeling. There was cars coming on both ends, honking, and then there was a girl on the adjacent side of where I was pulling out, so she would have pulled out after me. So she was in her car waiting. I'm sitting there like an idiot, so she couldn't get out. Luckily, 5-10 minutes later, I was able to get some guy at the gym and myself and also the girl to push my car back into the spot. But, and then magically 5 minutes later, I waited, I sat in the car, and then it turned itself back on. Didn't turn itself back on, I turned it back on and it worked. But now the check engine light's on, so I gotta go get that looked at. I'm now making some salmon burgers and some jasmine rice and some veggies. I love salmon. I usually don't cook my rice. I'll usually buy the Trader Joe's pre-packaged pouches, but in this case, we don't have any more of those, and jasmine rice is awesome. The reason being is rice takes a while to cook, and usually I don't have the patience to sit there for 20 minutes. Any tip to eating healthy? You have your carb, which is usually rice or potatoes, sweet potato, yams. You have your protein, any lean protein, salmon, chicken. I love red meat. They say you shouldn't eat red meat very often. It was like once or twice a week. Red meat, tuna. Also have that in moderation because of the mercury levels, and a vegetable, and that's it. Does anybody have any good tips to cooking using oil? You hear it right now. I can never get it to not smoke, and I'm using canola oil, which I know has a higher burn point, so it's not supposed to smoke as heavy as something like an olive oil or vegetable oil, but it still smokes like crazy, and of course, it's like the fire department is living in your house when that happens. James, that looks disgusting. Yes, I know. This is not something you're gonna go out to a restaurant and order, but I promise you it tastes good. Give it a chance, it's good for you, it's not expensive, and try it.